Darren's always been one for adventure, as you know, and it was no different when we were just wee boys. One day he decided that we were going to go abseiling, and we climbed our way up onto this roof when his mum and dad were out with a rope. We tied it round this chimney, and then Darren started tying it round my waist and round my legs and dangled me over the edge of this house. I was absolutely petrified. Thankfully, I survived.
Heather, if you ever see Darren putting one of your children out in the garden with a bit of wood over the top of him, stop him immediately. When I was 5 years old, Darren made me lie here with a plank of wood over me, and then he went and got on his motorbike, and then he came flying towards me. He was using me as a ramp. Thankfully, Aunt Linda saved my life that day. This has always been Amanda's shed, and we were never allowed in it. One Sunday afternoon though, Darren decided we would go exploring. We snuck away in here, and we quite liked it. As you know, Darren's always had an unhealthy obsession with explosives, and we went that day and we emptied out about 10 or 15 different fireworks all into the one container, a few shotgun cartridges of explosives from that as well, put them in a big bundle and then set it on fire. It was like Guy Fawkes night here in Amanda's shed. We burnt our stool, maybe a wee bit of our roof too. Sorry Amanda. This is the back road between Darren's house and my house. We've driven it at high speed many a time, sometimes even in pursuit. He's been a reckless driver from a very young age. Started off in the fields as a young boy, crashing into dikes, taking off over hills and the roads. It's no different there. And every time you come up behind Darren, there's always sparks as he takes over. I've learned everything I've learned about driving from Darren. That's why I've crashed so many times. This is a place where Darren's love for cars and also his brass neck came together and met. Many of the afternoons there was that we came up here, and Darren would drive up here in his £500 car. He would come in, he would speak to a car salesman and say, I'm thinking about exchanging my £500 Vectra for that £30,000 sports car over there. Can I have a test drive? The guys would be daft enough to let Darren out in their expensive sports cars, give him the keys, and Darren would start rallying the cars all about the countryside. Remember one poor guy in the back seat clinging on for dear life as we were going absolutely flying round the corners, and the guy screaming out, "Hey, slow down, I've got a family!" Darren, you weren't very nice to that poor man. Then pulled over and says, right, I want my wee cousin to have a shot now before I buy it. I had to come back to the garage and then say, no, I think we'll just stick with the Vectra, thanks, drive away. One day when we were young, we were out playing in our go-karts in this field. We get bored. Darren saw one of Mum's hens and he dared me to put it in a bin and roll it all the way down from the top of the hill. He said that the hen would be okay. It wasn't. Now, you might not think Darren has been a shy person, but believe it or not, when Darren came here to Kilmacombe Primary School, he was very, very shy. In fact, he was even too shy to ask if he could go to the toilet. Many a time he would be sitting with all his school classmates around the table, desperate to go for a poo, too shy to ask the teacher if he was allowed out to the toilet, and he would just have to sit there and do it. Some days Aunt Linda would come here to pick up our wee boy, our pride and joy, and she was met with this sight of Darren traipsing out to the car, once again having pooed his pants. So Darren, if the speech is going a wee bit long this evening, just put your hand up and just ask if you can get out to the toilet. Darren's high school years weren't without event either. His love for fireworks brought him into trouble. In fact, he was actually suspended one day for out there in one of the tech classrooms. He lit a firework, held it out the window, and it shot way out into the sky, and it looked as if everything had gone fine. But the only problem was the firework came back down and hit the Janny. That wasn't the only time he got into bother with fireworks though. The whole school got a letter home one day because Darren threw a firework at a passerby. This here is a very sad sight for Darren and me. This is the site of the old Jarvis Hotel. You wonder where Darren get his big muscles from? Well, it was from all the training that we did down here at the Jarvis. Month after month after month we were down here using the Jarvis's first class facilities. The brilliant gym, then going down the corner for a sauna and a jacuzzi and speaking to all the staff. Darren knew them all in first name terms. they all knew him as a member. But that wasn't quite true, was it, Darren? Darren had a one-day visitor pass, which he probably used over about 300 times, and then had the cheek to start bringing me with him. He's a chancer. Darren's love with leisure activities continued here at Burrock Outdoor Pool. Unlike most people though, we don't normally get the police to ask us to leave like Darren did. I think it had something to do with the fact that it was 2 o'clock in the morning and the pool was closed, there was nobody else about, and yet he had decided just to jump in for an evening dip. I'm just trying to remember, why was it that you hid in here that night?
That referring to the baseball bed?
Aye, that's what you hid. Boys will be boys. You always did have to go out with a bang, didn't you? The locals here in Kilmacombe have had to resort to carrying their wheelie bins onto their fences as a result of being terrorised by local youths. Apparently the bins were being found in all sorts of terrible types of conditions. Here's a little video to show you why. One day Darren and me were climbing Buccleuch Moor and I had a terrible fall, fell most of the way down the mountain. What did Darren do? Absolutely nothing. In fact, he just took out his phone to try and catch it on video so he could show people. It was the same thing another day down here at Glenettive River. I was drowning, caught up in the currents of the water, going unconscious. What did he do? Nothing, he just stood and watched. The reason he gave? I didn't want to get my clothes wet, I was just starting to warm up. So Darren, thanks for being a great friend, but you're a terrible rescuer. As you know, Darren loves his food. Many years ago, up here, we had a boys' weekend at Drumsiny House Hotel. But 1 o'clock in the morning, Darren decided that he was hungry. I just presumed we were going to have to wait until breakfast, but Darren wasn't willing to wait. So about 1 in the morning, he snuck away down into the hotel kitchen, opened the door, nobody else about, and he crept away in, hoping to find a loaf of bread that he might be able to make some toast with. But when he opened up the fridge door, he found an awful lot more than a loaf of bread. There was this array of Aberdeen Angus fillet steaks. We both looked at each other and we knew what was going to happen next. Within minutes, Darren had the cooker working and the steaks were on the grill, sizzling away, getting everything ready. So there we were, having a feast in the middle of the night up here at Drumsiny House Hotel. Heather, I hope you like steak. I think that's the only thing Darren can cook, but when he does it, he's very good at it. We're probably about 7 years too late, Darren, but I think we'll just go in now and settle the bill for these steaks. This is where Darren's industrious golf career started. It lasted all of 9 rounds. As far as I know, it's the only time he's ever played a round of golf. We came out here with our jeans tucked into our socks, not even knowing what end of the golf club to hold. And as you can see from this next video clip, Darren's technique left a lot to be admired. Darren, it's so good to just come up here again and to look at this lovely view and to think about all the times that we've spent up here. Those nights right at the beginning of our walk with God, laying down our lives and just asking Him to use us in His service and for His glory. Those nights coming and looking at the stars and looking at His beautiful creation and getting to know God. They'll live with us forever, those nights, and it's really just special to be able to look back on them. And as we've had a laugh thinking back at all the other old memories, and I've really enjoyed doing that, and I hope you've enjoyed doing it too. But at the same time, it's so nice just to think about the change that there has been in you. Darren, this is us up in the middle of Sucky Hall Street, and I don't want to dwell on the past, but I just wanted to come here and just remind you tonight of where you've come from. We wasted a lot of nights up here seeking after things that were wrong, and I just want to remind you of the grace of God and what He has brought you from and what He's brought you to. And it's been amazing for me to see the change in you in this street, no longer coming here to seek sinful pleasures, but coming here to bring the message of the cross, the message of Jesus Christ to people who are lost. And it's just been so good to see that desire put in your heart. So remember where you've come from, and just enjoy the fact that tonight that God has lifted you from the dunghill and set you among princes.
The change that there's been in your life is incredible, Darren. It's God that started that change, it's Him that's continuing it, and it's Him that's promised to complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. As your friend, it's been wonderful to sit back and to watch that change and to look at all these different memories that we've got through our lifetime. It's caused me to realise how big a part of my life your friendship has been. I love you, and I'm so thankful that you are my friend. I'm so glad now to be able to sit back and to see God bringing Heather into your life. That is also amazing, and I've grown to love the both of you now, and I'm excited to see what God will do in you and through you now as individuals and as a married couple. So I'm so sorry that I'm not there with you today. It's hard to be apart from you on such an important day, but I know you'll be having a wonderful time with all your friends and family there. And please just remember that my thoughts and prayers are very much with both of you on this day. My love goes to both of you.
Alright, Batman.
Congratulations, Darren and Darren.